So let's talk about my first Pap smear. Seriously, my first Pap smear. I was looking up videos on YouTube of what a Pap smear was, what was the procedure like, and every video I saw basically was a woman with her legs spread out and these like this, basically looking like a turkey, and you got the doctor or the medical doctor or the assistant with the medical doctor using these either metal or plastic clamps that they stick in, and then they kind of pull it apart a little bit, and then they're trying to check to see your cervix. You know, they're trying to check to make sure everything's good in your cervical area, in your vagina, to make sure there's no abnormalities, to make sure you don't have any cancer or lumps or bumps, you know, which is understandable, right? You know, want to make sure you're healthy. And apparently this is something you're supposed to get done periodically once you turn 21. I'm 24, and I managed to avoid getting a Pap smear. The reasons why: number one, I'm still a virgin, if we want to use that social construction of virginity. As in, I haven't had sex yet. So, yeah, having your legs spread open like this, looking like a turkey, and basically having a plastic thing just right up in you. Let's see what's in there. Not the most comfortable thing. I mean, you talk about the pressure that I was feeling. I'm like, dude, no. And my legs automatically was like, no, close, 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 close. Not something I want to deal with right now. They're like, just relax. The more you relax, the easier it is for us to get in there. But it's the pressure. Like, it was just too much for me. Like, no. So I didn't even go through the whole Pap smear. Like, I chickened out. I'm like, no. And then as I'm talking to the doctor's like, you know, they actually have technology that would make Pap smears extremely easier and less invasive and less uncomfortable. But they don't want to approve the technology. And then it got me thinking, you know, as a woman, these are things that women and girls need to know about so we can actually advocate and fight for our rights and for better treatment of our bodies. I mean, because the Pap smear has to be the most uncomfortable thing I've ever dealt with. Like, what in the world? Especially when you have all these microscopes. You don't need to have somebody basically looking like a turkey getting ready to be based for Thanksgiving or something. You don't need to do that, you know? Go through that. But when you have a bunch of men as medical doctors and as politicians making all of the decisions, it's not a surprise that they don't want to approve something that's less invasive, less intrusive, and more, you know, easier for the patient, because they're men. They're not the ones getting the Pap smear procedure done to them. So of course they probably don't care or don't even know about it. So as women, it got me thinking, like, we need to fight and advocate for better treatment of our bodies and for better medical practices and our rights. So now that I know this, I'm going to do more research on the breakthrough technology that would make Pap smears basically less intrusive and more comfortable for the patient and better treatment of our bodies. So I'm going to look up more of that. I'll probably leave some links to it in the description box below if you happen to want to learn about it too. But I think as a woman, we need to advocate for better treatment of our bodies, because the Pap smear is just it's just ridiculous. I mean, and they don't even try to set the mood. Like, they didn't even use lube. They just went right in, like, you know, I mean, goodness. Nobody's prepared for that. And then also something I thought about too is, think about people who have been victims or survivors of sexual assault, sexual abuse. The Pap smear can be re-victimization. I mean, that could possibly send someone dramatic shock syndrome. I mean, you can see how someone can have some PTSD and have flashbacks of the sexual assault or abuse they went through, because, I mean, it is so invasive. Like, seriously. So just some things that I think about. But yeah, just had to do a video on this because I was just like, what in the world? That is not what I had envisioned that I was going to be going through on a Monday afternoon. Like, no.